Rob Gronkowski and Drew Brees' Super Bowl LIX or Super Bowl LIX, as Nikki Benz calls it. Nobody Google that, please. What's their predictions? Who do they think is going to win? Now, I really wanted to do this video to talk about Drew Brees' jacket, okay? I saw Drew Brees at Radio Row, walked right by me in that jacket with someone carrying that plate of wings. So here's the deal. Drew, in this partnership with Bounty, which if you couldn't tell, Drew Brees is sponsored by Bounty, Drew has to wear the jacket, and then he has to be followed by these hot wings everywhere he goes. So when I saw him, he wasn't going to the Rich Eisen Show. He was going to a different booth. But think about that. Think about where you're walking around and you're being followed by a tray of wings all day long. Hey, you're doing this interview? Let me put these wings down. Like, insanity. Imagine just smelling buffalo sauce just all day. So let's go ahead and listen to what Drew has to say.
This Super Bowl obviously has a potential historic ring to it because of what's going on with the Chiefs. What do you say, Gronk, to anybody who thinks that the Chiefs are closing in on the Patriots dynasty right now? What do you think?
Well, remember, no team ever. Think about the best teams in NFL history: the Cowboys, the Patriot dynasties, the Montana 49ers, whatever dynastic teams you want to mention. None of those teams won 3 in a row. This is something that has never, ever happened in the history of the NFL. So whether you want to say this is the best dynasty ever, whatever, you have to admit, this is something that has never happened, and I would have guessed could never happen.
I don't think they're closing in on just everything that we've accomplished through our dynasty, because it was over 2 decades. I mean, you had that first dynasty decade from 2002,
yes,
kind of like the 2010, and then
started in the Superdome, by the way.
Yes, it did right here when
against the Rams.
Tom won his very first one, and then it trickled into the second decade, which with myself, Julian, and those type of guys, Devin McCourty, but what they have done over the last 10 years, I believe it's the best decade of dominance for a dynasty, especially if they get the three-peat, because that means they've won 4 over the last 10 years, and the Patriots, they did 3 and 3. So you got to give them credit for the.
Yeah, I mean, good point by Gronk. I think if you're comparing, the Patriots and the Chiefs, the Patriots were much more spread out and very similar to almost like if you look at LeBron's career, where LeBron, it's almost like categorized with Miami and then the first Cleveland run and then the second Cleveland run and then LA. You can kind of compartmentalize them all, and they're all a little bit different. The Patriots, similar. Like Tom's early games were very different, our early teams were very different than his last teams that won the Super Bowl, like Gronk said, with Gronk and Jules and all those players. The earlier ones with Deion Branch and some maybe more defensive-oriented Patriots team, and so I think you do have to split them up. And the Chiefs, what is this? Mahomes I think he had 7 straight AFC title games. I think this was his 7th. This decade that they're rocking and rolling with is absolutely insane. And Patrick Mahomes is a player where he can, if he's going to get into that world where if he adds another Super Bowl or a couple more after this three-peat, if he gets this one, and he's in that 4, 5, 6 Super Bowl territory throughout his career with a three-peat, with all of the consecutive conference championship games, he will be closing in very quickly on Tom Brady territory. He will be closing in very fast. He will be surpassing, he probably has already surpassed some of the other top 5 quarterbacks that get thrown around there. He's probably already there, but he is a long way away from being done. And you could argue that he's not even playing at the peak of his powers. We have, it's been a while. The game kind of changed, and even their roster, when they got rid of Tyreek Hill, and it would almost be reminiscent of when Brady got Randy Moss. If Tom Brady got some serious if Patrick Mahomes got some serious weapons, or they kind of retooled that offense a little bit. Travis Kelce's getting towards the end of his career. His production's dropped. It's just a wide receiver by committee. But if you start tooling Kansas City to similarly how the Patriots were tooled at the end there, we could see another level to Patrick Mahomes, which is insane to think about.
Best decade dynasty, but overall, it's not the best dynasty over a length of time yet. And they can, they can do it. They still have the chance. I mean, Andy Reid can still coach another 10 years. Patrick Mahomes can play another 10 years, and then they can have the best dominance of a dynasty over 2 decades. But so far, it's still the Patriots, baby.
And your records are too many to mention, Drew. There's a gajillion of them. But you see what Mahomes is doing before he's even 30 years old. How does that hit you as you're watching?
Well, look, I mean, I think that's what's so remarkable about this. The guy has started for 7 years. He's got 7 conference championship games, and he's playing in his 5th Super Bowl. I mean, so
it's absolutely insane. I mean, it's absolutely insane when you look at that and you think about 7 straight. I mean, it's always hard to recognize greatness while it's happening in front of you. It's usually once the player retires or once they kind of get over the hill or whatever that you really can understand what's going on. But what Patrick Mahomes and what the Chiefs have done, I mean, think about this. Andy Reid was run out of Philadelphia. He was the coach that couldn't win the big one. He was the coach that couldn't get him over the hump. He was the coach that was good but not great, goes to Kansas City, and now he is positioned, and a lot of people believe he is the greatest coach of all time, not Bill Belichick. Andy Reid is in the conversation as one of the 2 greatest coaches in NFL history, and this is the guy who was fired. This is a guy who had the moniker of he couldn't do what he's doing right now. And the fact that you go from having that moniker to very quickly becoming the architect and the leader of arguably the greatest dynasty in the history of the NFL, bananas.
So if you take that and if you could spread that over the course of a body of work that spans 18, 20 years, like, look, I think the conversation with, Brady and Mahomes right now, look, Brady played 23 seasons, right? 10 Super Bowl appearances, 7 Super Bowl wins. I think what Mahomes has accomplished in his first 7 years is certainly unprecedented. If they win 3 in a row, unprecedented. But I think the body of work is kind of what you have to look at. And honestly, I think, I mean, how many could this guy win, right? If you start looking at the next 10 years. And it's going to be with different eras. Like at some point he's going to lose Travis Kelce, right? Yeah. And he's going to have to basically do it with a whole new cast of guys.
Patrick Mahomes, and I've been on the wrong side of this because this year and last year I was very vocal. Like, hey, look, there's no way the Chiefs can do this. The Chiefs cannot win with Juju Smith-Schuster or Kadarius Toney or Kareem Hunt or whatever as their number 1 guys. They cannot win like this. And I said it all last year, and it blew up in my face. And I've said it all this year, and it blew up in my face. So arguably, this is the weakest teams that Patrick Mahomes has had, and he's still getting it done. So if in that next era, you were looking at a totally retooled offense or a totally retooled defense or whatever, and Mahomes all of a sudden has, if Patrick Mahomes had a Derrick Henry or had a Saquon Barkley or had a Devontae Smith or had an A.J. Brown or had any of these players that you see on these other teams, like if he had these guys, I mean, even like Dallas Goedert, if he had a Dallas Goedert, if he just had someone to help elevate the team, and God forbid if he had multiple, God forbid if he had, Randy Moss is over here, but he also has Rob Gronkowski over here, and he also has whoever in the backfield, and he also has the best offensive line. Their offensive line, they cannot run the football. Like, think about that. This is a team that almost went undefeated, and they can't run the football at all. They're horrific on the ground. And that same team, it's nuts what they're doing, and I don't think we've even seen the best version of the Kansas City Chiefs or Patrick Mahomes.
And yet, as long as he is the guy pulling the trigger, at the helm, and then with an Andy Reid or someone who's, kind of orchestrating all of that, then man, this could last for a while.
Have you given your prediction yet, or you got to wait till?
Yeah, well, I've been wrong over the last 2 years. I actually chose against the Chiefs, so I can't do.
I mean, this is unbelievable. Now he's eating the wing. It's all over his face. Is he going to use the Bounty paper towel to wipe his face? I would assume so. I mean, just unbelievable. performance here from Bounty?
Do that 3 years in a row. So I'm going with the Kansas City Chiefs to score 30 and the Philadelphia Eagles to score 26. And I'm going to go even deeper into it.
Yeah.
It's going to be 26-23. There's going to be 2 minutes left, and Patrick Mahomes is going to drive down the field and score a touchdown. They're going to kick the extra point to make it 30-26.
And that's a very specific prediction. What about you, Drew Brees? What about you?
My prediction, I've said this a million times, 31 Eagles, 23 Chiefs. I think the Eagles are the better team. I think the inability of the Chiefs to run the football and how good the Eagles defense is. I think the Chiefs defense is a little overrated. Their pass defense is not great. And I think that the Eagles will be able to totally dominate the line of scrimmage. I think you have the better defense, you have the better playmakers, you have the better roster, not just the better defense, but the best defense in the NFL. You've got superstars all over the place. I think this is the Eagles' year. I think they are a great matchup stylistically to play against the Chiefs. I don't think the Chiefs will be able to exploit them, and I just don't think the Chiefs have the playmakers to get it done. Yes, they have Patrick Mahomes, but I think we're closer to the Buccaneers-Chiefs Super Bowl, where Mahomes just at a certain point he could only do so much. I think that's what we're going to see. I think that's what we're going to see in this game here. So I'm going Eagles win relatively comfortably.
Well, I think Saquon is going to go off. He's going to do what he does.
Yeah.
I think it's going to take away a couple possessions from the Chiefs, and it's going to cause them to get a little bit kind of press a little bit.
Yeah.
Exactly what I'm saying. Where the Eagles are built perfectly to where if they can run successfully, the Chiefs are not going to have the ball. The Chiefs want to have the ball. The Chiefs want to chew up clock. They want to chew up possession. They want to go on these 10, 11, 12, 13 play drives. If they can't do that, and the possessions that they do get, they're forced into doing what they don't want to do, which is try and win on the outside, and they're facing the best defense in the NFL with a dominant defensive line against a weak Chiefs offensive line. I think you're going to see the Eagles pin their ears back, get after Mahomes, very similar to how the Bucs did. Not to that degree, because that game, the Chiefs' offensive line was hurt, and it was a totally different situation. But I think it's going to get them uncomfortable. And if the Chiefs can't stop the run against Saquon, then it's going to be a long day.
And so I think the Eagles are going to they're going to be up 10 in the fourth.
Damn, me and Drew are locked in.
And then the Chiefs are going to come roaring back to tie this thing.
I'm on the edge of my seat.
But the last possession is going to go to the Eagles to drive down with a game-winning kick opportunity. And I don't know what's going to happen after that.
Oh, man. Right to the end.
Oh, man. That was
Drew
a
didn't give
thriller.
a prediction.
This is a thriller. Great to have.
So Drew said that the Eagles will be up 10. The Chiefs will roar back, tie it up, and then the Eagles will have the ball with a chance to win it. Is that what he said?
By the way, you missed his spot. It's on Gronk's left side of his screen. There you go.
This is sad. How much money do you think Rob Gronkowski and Drew Brees have made in their careers? Guys, you don't have to do this. You don't have to put on bounty jackets and wipe each other's faces off with bounty paper towels. I understand. I get it. Guys, please have some dignity.
Go. Now Gronk's ready for the rest of the
That's my wingman. That's why I got him.
Catch the Rich Eisen.
Good Lord have mercy. I can't believe what I'm seeing here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, there it is. Drew Brees' pseudo prediction, Rob Gronkowski's pseudo prediction. My prediction, 31-23, 8-point win. Quick maths for the Eagles. I've laid it out for you. I'll give you some more kind of tidbits. Chiefs play a ton of man. Chiefs are going to blitz a lot. Jalen Hurts is fantastic against the blitz, fantastic against cover one, fantastic against man. Dallas Goedert's the best tight end in the NFL against man. I expect Goddard and the Chiefs are also horrible against tight ends. I expect Goddard to have a huge game. I expect Saquon to not go off. I don't think 130, 140 yards, but I think Saquon will be able to run the football. I think the line is too disruptive defensively from the Eagles. I think Jalen Carter and that group wreck. I think they get involved, get Patrick Mahomes uncomfortable. The Chiefs cannot run the football. They've abandoned the run. I expect nothing from Isaiah Pacheco. I expect nothing from Kareem Hunt. And at that point, I think the Eagles lean on them. I think it's too much for the entire game. I think the Eagles get out front early, and they continue that, and I think they win this one relatively comfortably. So that's my prediction. Go buy some bounty, I guess. Good luck. Ladies and gentlemen, get on down in the comments below. Let me know what you think. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next